let's talk about this Ryan Clark situation.
Oh, yeah.
This was extremely interesting this past week. A lot of Easter eggs in here.
Black Tuesday at ESPN.
Yeah, right. This July, July 20th to be specific, ESPN officially cut ties with a high-profile NFL analyst Ryan Clark. In a highly unusual move, Clark was informed of his dismissal during a commercial break while mid-broadcast on NFL Live. Ryan was actively appearing on the July 20th, 2026 episode of NFL Live when executives pulled him from the broadcast. According to The Athletic, the network originally planned to inform him the following morning. However, once media outlets began inquiring about his impending departure, executives rushed to tell him during a commercial break so he would not first read about his termination on social media. Clark did not return for the remainder of the show, while Clark's exit coincided with broader corporate layoffs at ESPN. Internal factors also contributed to the decision. Disney and ESPN implemented a widespread round of job cuts. The layoffs primarily stemmed from restructuring after ESPN acquired the NFL network and its digital assets. Reports also indicate that the network executives had soured on Clark following a highly publicized 2025 on-air exchange on Get Up with colleague Peter Schrager. During that segment, Clark dismissed Schrager's opinion by attributing it to, quote, the non-player in you, unquote, which created ongoing friction. That's according to the New York Times. Let me ask the People's Champ. Was informing Clark of his termination on air unprofessional by ESPN, or was it justified given the nature of the fast-moving information age? What say you?
Before you go on, I just do want to make a point of saying that during the article did come out today that said that he asked during the show if he should stay on to finish the show, and they told him no.
Oh, okay. Got it. But we'll say the People's Champ. You think that was unprofessional by ESPN? Was it justified? Even if he asked, do you think it was justified that they told him to not finish the show?
I mean, even with that update.
Right.
I mean, not only was it that, it is my nomination for this week's Sucker Shit segment. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Come on, man. That's just unprofessional and out of pocket.
Yeah.
To me, like, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
I think no matter how you feel about Ryan Clark,
right,
from the outside looking in, it can't help but look like they used this as an opportunity to kind of embarrass him.
Right.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you slice that.
Mm-hmm.
And personal feelings aside, you would think he's done enough for the network.
Sure.
Specifically the NFL Live show.
Yeah.
Where I believe they've won 2 Emmys since he's, been a part of that show.
Part of it, yeah.
So, yeah, I just think he deserved better than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Like, why was the answer no? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would the answer have been no to him remaining on, for the remainder of the show? Like, yeah, go ahead and finish the show. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's no saving face at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all the toothpaste is out of the tube. It's all
at that point, yeah. Yeah, no, I concur. I think it was highly unprofessional and unfair to Ryan Clark. I think once the broadcast has started, I think you just trust him to remain professional until its conclusion. And then you deal with whatever informing him of any impending personnel decisions brings at that point, So I think whoever made that call, yes, I think that was unprofessional. Whoever told him no, even if he asked, you should have said, yeah, and just go ahead and finish the show. I think not only was it unfair to Ryan Clark, I think it was unfair to the rest of the cast as well.
Yeah,
they started
to do a show with him.
Yeah, exactly. They started the show obviously thinking that they were going to have him as a part of the team for the duration of the show, and that was stripped from them during the show as well. So I'm sure that they had to adjust on the fly.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the viewers tune in to NFL Live and they do so to be entertained and informed about the happenings around the NFL and not to witness corporate paper shuffling.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, I mean, I too agree. I'm like, that was unprofessional, and I think that in the future, you know, you would try to keep those things behind the scenes if you're ESPN. I do want to ask you specifically about that Peter Schrager incident, though. Do you believe that the exchange was unprofessional? Now, again, full disclosure, on my part, I had to go back and rewatch it.
I watched it.
I had to rewatch the entire thing, but do you think it was unprofessional on the part of Ryan Clark? Or do you think Schrager was just being overly sensitive, or did the executive simply misread the interaction? What say the people's champ?
Peter Schrager with his version of white woman tears. Like, seriously, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, he went and whined because they pay Peter Schrager a lot of money to leave the previous network that he was on.
Right.
To come over to ESPN. So, no, man. I watched that exchange, and Ryan prefaced what he was about to say.
I agree, yeah. Yep, I saw that.
As about as polite as you possibly could,
right,
given the context. And then before he could even finish what he was going to say, I mean, Schrager's hit dog hollering, "Oh, come on, Ryan!" Right. And Ryan had to cut him off, like, "Bro, I wasn't even talking about you."
Yeah, he said I was talking about myself.
Talking about myself.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, do we know that Schrager complained?
It did. I don't think he had to.
Okay.
I
You think the executive saw it?
Yeah, I think him souring up on the air the way that he did.
Okay.
And then just by that, because a lot of programming and marketing period now is based on your clippability, I guess.
Sure.
And that was absolutely a viral moment. It was everywhere. So I think that alone, he didn't have to. They probably called him in like, "Hey, Pete, how do you feel about Clark?"
Right.
I'm being hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I don't necessarily want to negatively paint him.
But my little experience with corporate America, sometimes that's kind of how things could possibly play out.
Right. And because I'm like, I don't necessarily want to paint him as like a Karen in the situation, because I don't necessarily know that he complained per se. But
he definitely whined like a Karen when at
the moment. Yeah,
like that was weak. Oh, come on, Ryan, don't do that. What did he say? Don't discredit. He used I'm trying to remember this. Discredit me.
Oh,
disparage or
did he say don't be dismissive? Yeah, I forget the exact verbiage.
And a real condescending context to what Ryan was trying to say.
I agree.
Which I don't think was his intention. That I didn't pick up on that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So again, his initial reaction to me was very Karen-esque. And again, I think that led to a viral moment.
Yep.
And let's just be honest, Ryan Clark has a few viral moments, or at least, I don't want to say controversial incidents, but lightning rod incidents.
Sure.
And ESPN is kind of loosening the slack a little bit, with the network. So maybe that could play into it too.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Schrager incident, I think played in it. I think maybe a lot of the viral moments that he may have had with the Josh Allen comments in the past.
Yep.
Because the thing about it, as we learn this whole social media and engagement and how it works, they read that engagement. They look at that engagement.
Sure.
And, a lot of the comments, when those topics come up, they turn down an ugly road.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's, maybe that could be something that they want to steer clear from. Who knows? But I just think, how they handled it was just not the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, so, my read on it, and again, full disclosure, I did have to go back and rewatch it. But, to me, opinion panels are compiled to represent diversity. First off, I didn't think it was anything wrong with what Ryan Clark said. He is a non-player. That you do bring a non-player perspective. He didn't lie on you. I'd have been like, yeah, I am a non-player. If I was talking to a professional athlete or a former professional athlete, and they said you bring a non-player perspective, yeah, yeah, I do. I have never been on a professional playing surface. I can't speak to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even if you've played at other levels, I've never played on a professional playing surface. So, yeah, it's because it was, that harkens back to the conversation that we had last week about Shakur and Shannon. I don't have to have been a professional boxer to understand the landscape of boxing. I have to have been a professional boxer to understand the perspective of a professional boxer.
Right.
So, I think that,
because if Ryan Clark would have called him ignorant, he'd probably got fired that day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even I was like you. I thought it was a fairly benign type of situation. And also, just on a separate point, I thought that the ESPN executives misread the situation. I think that's a good interaction from the standpoint of engagement. You want people to, viral moments are good, in other words, I guess is what I'm trying to drive at without going too much in the weeds on that point. You want some friction. That's the reason you have a diverse panel. Otherwise, you just have a whole panel of former athletes, or you just have a whole panel of sports reporters, like they used to have the sports report, like you just have a panel of one type of thing. You'd have a monolithic panel, and that would just be it. I think the reason you have some analysts and some reporters and some former athletes, like you have a diversity of opinions and perspectives, is so that you can create some diversity of thought and maybe some friction. Like, hey, I see it from this perspective. Let me give you the player's point of view. You're just an analyst. I see it a different way. So, I just thought that, and for Schrager's part, I think if you're going to be an analyst discussing the game with individuals who have played professional, you have to leave your insecurities at the door. You can't bring those insecurities in with you. So, I kind of saw what you saw. If they really made something of that and made that a part of the reason, and I'm sure that that's not the entire reason. I'm sure that there's a cocktail of reasons why, including, just simply financial reasons. But let me ask you the last question that I have on this particular topic is about the ESPN model itself. Because we've basically seen ESPN making these type of sweeping cuts fairly regularly. Does the ESPN model still work? And if there are issues, what are they, according to the People's Champ?
Does the ESPN model still work? Well, the numbers say no.
Right. Yeah. In some respects. Yeah. Yep.
But, it's like, it's kind of hard to define what their model is. It's like they have their TV programming.
Right. That I think that's more what I'm talking about, because I think that's more where they struggle. I mean, we know the NFL works,
but it's like,
I'm not asking about whether the NFL contract.
I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's really not them. You know what I mean? Like, when those shows were successful, it was because they were more so spearheaded by the professionals, that could fill hours with sport topics that were layered.
Yeah.
And then, they could sprinkle in and get those different opinions.
Sure.
Because the topics were so layered and they had so much more depth. Whereas now, a lot of it is so much more fast paced.
Okay.
And also there's a lack of a lot of the storytellers are independents.
Yeah. I have something very similar to that in my notes, but go ahead.
I think that independent component is a lot more lucrative than it was before. So I don't think you can sustain the old model the way that you used to, because
Yes.
I think now if you become a star of a show, you can just go create your own show.
Yep.
And then within a year be your own media entity.
Yes.
Hello. But you get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I think that's probably the biggest component as to why the model's changing and not working. And I think ESPN recognizes it, and that's why they spending so much money on Pat McAfee.
Yep.
You know, because he basically built his platform on YouTube independently by himself. And so they see it. So I guess they are of the mindset, if you can't beat them, join them. And, you know, if they can create the model and you don't have to spend the money to, you can just kind of pay to outsource it.
Sure.
You know, so maybe that is the new model, like outsourcing individual media entities.
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of contract them out. Because what I've noticed too is when they try to incorporate them into the old model, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because they don't work well with constraints.
Yep.
You know.
What you got, nephew?
I just want to add to your point that I think with Ryan and also Cam being a part of the layoffs, I think a piece that plays a part into it is the fact that both Ryan and Cam have their own media entities, and they kind of know their value a little bit more. And I think ESPN sees that and knows that we aren't going to be able to keep them at the price we need to keep them at in order to turn a profit at the end of the day. Because I think the number is like 161 million between both Pat and Stephen A. Smith. So those two take up a lot of the budget by themselves. So it kind of makes their decision. And I'm talking just strictly from the business standpoint.
Sure.
It kind of makes their decision the easier one, because they like, okay, I know we can move this much money off because I know they're not trying to take a pay cut or stay at the same price.
Yep. No, you know what, y'all said a lot of what I was going to say. I do think that ESPN went too athlete heavy for a lot of the reasons that y'all said, as opposed to introducing fresh voices like they used to. John Saunders, you know, R.I.P., Stuart Scott, R.I.P., William Roden, even Stephen A. Smith. They kind of introduced some of those guys and made them visible, you know, to new fan bases. Those guys were tastemakers in a sense, you know.
Van Pelt.
Right, yeah. Like they introduced them, as opposed to doing that, to go and get an athlete who already has his own platform, who already has popularity, who's already known to the fan base, you know, while that was an easier way to do things, because now you don't really have to, the fans don't have to get to know them.
Right.
It also backfired because athletes now, they realize that they didn't need a large medium, like like ESPN, you know what I'm saying, to basically filter their views and analysis.
Yep.
They could have their own platforms, like y'all just said. So yeah, and I think the second thing is they overdid it. You know, the former athletes anywhere on ESPN, they're just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't have those young up and coming voices. They're not introducing any new voices anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like they just going and getting voices from over here and over there. And like Nephew pointed out now, but those guys know their value.
Yeah.
They have their own media companies. They have their own platforms. They like, hey, I built my popularity independently. I didn't build it through ESPN. So, you know, like you didn't make me and, you know, you can't break me.
Because now you don't need the media discipline.
Correct.
Or the journalism discipline.
Correct.
That you had to have before, that acumen. You just need charisma and, you know, not be lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And just learn the
and
system,
consistency.
Learn the system of being able to produce consistent product.
Yeah, and that's what we say here. Like, man, we have to be consistent. Like, we gonna be here every week. You know, like aside from the time that we, you know, take a vacation or take a week off.
Right.
But what we do here is we gonna be here every week. This is our thing. We gonna have our weekly conversation about various sports topics, and Nephew gonna be over there. We gonna be over here. This is our thing. So, like we're building our own platform from the ground up. Like, every rock, every brick, every bit of mortar, this is ours. It may take a long time to build it, but we building it on our own. So, no, and I think that, and once it's built though, it's going to be ours.
Right.
It's like, we're not going to need to go to a Fox Sports or ESPN in order for them to validate us. Now, if they want to, then we like, hey, we could break bread, but
that's 2 commas.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think we all kind of see the same thing. So yeah, no, that's a good conversation right there.